Hey guys, welcome back to the series between Direwolves and Avant-Garde. Avant-Garde able to take out game number 1 there, and in case you missed it, there was a fire giant taken in that first game. If you didn't grab a screenshot of it, that is bad news for you, because you need to take a screenshot of the first fire giant taken in each series to be in the running to win a free large sandboxer figure like the one you can see I'm holding up right now. Didn't even get your name on it like I've got there. I got myself a Thor. You can get anything you want. They have got a range there, so you can just pick one, model it how you like. We're going to get ready to go into game number 2 now. My name's Susie. Joining me is Timmy.
Yeah, picks and bans for game number 2. Direwolves having their first loss of the OPL season, and we can see that Direwolves banging out that ISIS already. Ochita, you're not allowed it. You did too much with it. Those Spirit Balls were just chunking people for half their health.
Yeah, it's a really smart ban away for Direwolves to take. Like, it's objective secure as well.
Yes.
For Avant-Garde. And it enabled them to fight at the Titan because of how many times it healed them up. And it just shut down so much of Chuckles' aggression with the Spirit Ball, with the Silence, with the Circle of Protection. And Direwolves really rely on Chuckles to be a lot of their aggression, to be a lot of their damage, to be a lot of their setup. And when they're lacking that, they're not the same team that we know and have come to follow through the first 6 weeks of this competition. Now we can see our Kwong banned away by Avant. Again,
of course.
Smart ban. If you're the second pick, you ban away our Kwong. You just don't let it go through.
Yeah, Al Kwong is basically always going to be banned. So if you don't have to do it, you get an extra ban at your disposal. Hopefully we see Direwolves try and go for a bit more of a higher damage sort of team composition as opposed to last time. But we can see that Direwolves are going to ban out the Bologna here.
Again, that's just recognizing who they're playing
Only
against,
good solo.
Only good at solo. You mean you gave him an Osiris, which isn't the strongest solo lane god. It's a great god. Bologna, if he had something like a Bologna, who is pretty much one of the strongest gods in solo and in the jungle, and occasionally support if you're from EU, but mainly solo and jungle. It's a smart ban away from Direwolves, and now Athena banned away from by Avant-Garde, again recognizing how good Chuckles is on that god. Very smart tactics to take that one away from him.
Yes, in the first picks up, you're going to see here, Direwolves getting the Yana straight away. That's going to go back to the way of Kikyo and Mio, having top player damage pretty much the entire game of game 1. So a lot of good things coming out from him. Expect a lot more damage and even more mobility coming out for Direwolves here.
It's really odd to see Kikyo playing Janus. Like, it's something that Direwolves have typically avoided. They like it as more like a Poseidon, more like an Agni, or even the Isis compared to a Janus. That we saw them play Zeus one game and Kikyo go 18-0. So, but just Janus, they just avoided it. Even when it's been left on the table, they must have been practicing this throughout the last couple of weeks, trying to get Kikyo to play one of the strongest mid laners in the game. Let's take a look at Avant's first picks now, and they're going with Hunbarts and Gibalanke. Row on Hunbarts. Get ready to see some special plays.
Yeah, Hunbarts, one of the best teamfight presence junglers that you have out there. The Fear No Evil just splits everyone up or pushes them all in a similar direction. So much crowd control, so much panic-inducing and disorientation. Gonna go to the way onto Direwolves, just really try and split them up, confuse them a lot during those teamfights. And Gibalanke, like we saw Just Laney doing, gained a fair bit of kills, gained a lot of power coming out, but now Sulfur is going to have his crack at it.
Take a look at Direwolves' next picks, which is going to be Serket and Sylvanas. Not Geb, however, which means that is free for Avant get if they so choose, and that'll be able to cleanse a lot of Serket's aggression. They do go ahead and take that Geb. I still like Sylvanas, however. Richard Castle is very comfortable on him, and he provides a lot in terms of the way of utility for his team, being able to heal up a lot. You know, getting the Wrath of Terror down, able to disrupt as well as initiate. The Seeds as well, giving passive mana as well as being able to root people in place. But Spork's going on to Geb. It seems that it's the Guardian he wants to play.
Yeah, Geb is kind of, if Sylvanas is taken, you pick up Geb. Geb is very strong. However, Sylvanas is at the moment the best support out there. So much early game potential, such great late game potential. Great teamfight, great siege, and just everything you want in a support. And we can see that Avant-Garde gonna target that teamfighting as well, gonna ban out the Medusa.
Yeah, and Agni is banned away by by Direwolves, actually, sorry. They don't want
Hmm.
a cheater playing that. Going to be interesting to see what he plays instead. The Medusa, though, taken away from Just Laney. That's pretty interesting. He's played Medusa before, but I don't know if it's necessarily his strongest AD carry. What that leaves on the board for him is Apollo.
I think what they're really trying to do with the Medusa ban is allow subfloor to not really have any threats early on. You go up against Medusa, you typically do end up losing the lane. A lot of poke, a lot of wave clear, and a lot of early on damage. If he does face someone like an Apollo, he's going to be able to farm up a bit more passively, take his time, not get rushed in any regards. We can see that the first pickup after that second lot of bans is going to be Osiris. That's going to go back onto only good at solo.
He did a lot of work with that Osiris last game, especially with the judgment others, and as well as that, just getting up in Direwolves' faces, unable to allow them to do much damage onto the rest of his team. We can see now Apollo and Hades picked for the Direwolves. I really like the Apollo pick for the split push.
Yeah, the split push, as we saw last game, was absolutely phenomenal. We, in a similar situation with the Shibbolonke, only managed to get a tier 1 tower and bring the tier 2 just above 50% health. However, subfloor turned it around, did the exact same thing, and got 2 towers for free. So expect a lot of split pushing during those team fights. And Hades going onto the Yada, that's going to allow him to really just win lane. Hades wins lane, just minions gone. Not an issue.
Well, we can see Poseidon up here for a cheater.
I
don't think no, actually we've seen him on him this split. I really like Poseidon. He brings a lot to team fights, especially in the early to mid game. Basically, as soon as you hit level 5, you're looking to be aggressive with a Poseidon. But it means Kepri's gone through all these picks and bans, which is something odd. Maybe OCE hasn't learned to really capitalize on him. We saw Yada play him last game, and he was, all right. He didn't do too much for the team, though, as they were lacking a bit of damage there. But Avant Garde, again, looking pretty strong in the team comp.
I think the Capri was a bit more, let's jump on the bandwagon. This guy's just released. We'll premiere him. But didn't really work out all that great. Yada going for another Guardian into the solo lane. However, Hades is recognized as being one of the best solo laners. And now, with that Poseidon, that's going to allow for a lot of power coming back onto Direwolves.
It certainly will. We're going to go ahead and take a short break as we head into this match. I just want to give a quick shout out to chat for letting me know that I was looking fine heading into the other game. Really appreciate that. So we're going to take a short break here and then head straight into match.
The new high-performance Rig 500 headset from Plantronics is designed to match the skills of an aspiring esport player with the gear they need to win. The new modular system gives you the power to adapt, upgrade, and personalize your headset for the task at hand. The Rig 500 series of gaming headsets are engineered to deliver the perfect combination of durable lightweight comfort in an immersive audio environment. 7.1 surround sound and 24-bit audio provide a stunning 360-degree sound field with directional audio. 40mm drivers with low-frequency resonators provide crisp highs and boosted bass. Clear voice noise cancelling technology provides clear communication to your teammates. From the headset company that equips the pros, the 500 series was crafted to meet the needs of esports and competitive players around the world. The new Rig 500 series of headsets from Plantronics. Respect the training. Reactions win.
When the world needs conquerors. When being rare is not enough. And even epic fails. It's time to create your own fate. To become legendary. No matter what kind of enemy you face, or what kind of game you play, you can become the craftsman of your own legend. create your own legend. Time to build your victory. Rocket Myth.
Hey there, Smite fans, check it out. See what Sandboxer's about. Print it, 3D print your favorite gods. Print it, Kukulkan to Sun Wukong. And try to collect them all, from image to the wall. You can even score your very own floor. Take out a loan and order more. Print it.
Hello, Smite fans. Welcome to game number 2 of Direwolves taking on Avant Garde, week number 7 of the Smite Oceania Pro League. I am Husey. Joining me is Timmy.
Yes, we saw Avant Garde taking out the first game of this series. Direwolves suffering their first loss. However, let's see if they're going to be able to really rekindle the flame as we go ahead and introduce our teams. Actually, before that, we're going to go into Big Casa for a moment here.
Yeah, so just the team's taking a little bit long to connect here. Oceanic servers are in fact OP. Let's take a look at our team comps here. I really like Direwolves one coming into this one with the Sylvanas pick. Actually, we should be back. We should be back now. So let's go ahead and introduce our teams, and then we can talk about the composition. So on the left side of your spectator UI, fighting under the blue health bars, and out of the order side of your minimap, we have got Direwolves. Yada is in the solo lane as Hades. El Chuckles will be in the jungle on Circuit. Kiki Omeo is your mid lane Janus, and Richard Castle and Just Laney will be making up your duo lane as Sylvanas and Apollo.
And finally, out of the right side of your spectator UI, on the top side of your minimap, we've got Only Good Solo playing Osiris in the solo lane. Ro's gonna be running around the jungle as the monkey Hunbats. And in your mid lane is going to be Ochita playing the God of the Seas, Poseidon. And your duo lane is made up of Sporks and Subfloor playing Geb and Shibelunke.
Let's talk about the Poseidon pick, Timmy. I'm a big fan of Poseidon. I'm a big fan of seeing those Krakens come out of the ground and just absolutely eat people. What are your thoughts on it, especially with the Hunbats?
With the Hunbats, it really allows for a lot more security. You don't have to necessarily rely on the whirlpools. If a Fear No Evil comes out, you can line it up. However, the thing about the Kraken is that it is fairly easily countered. If Sporks brings out a good stone shield and right in the clutch point of time, it can mitigate a lot of the damage, as well as the fact if you do end up gaining Aegis, you can 100% mitigate it. If you don't, it's influential to all hell.
You can see Dai was going for the Paradigm start here. Avant going for the AFK. A little bit of different starts there for them. You know, it's really kind of what you prefer. The Paradigm a little bit riskier than the AFK, but then again, you do get the timers on the mid camps. You know, which do you think better suits these teams, Timmy?
Better suits these teams is really comes down to, I'm going to say the Paradigm one is going to be a lot more potent, because those left-hand mid-camps aren't going to be available for Direwolves, for Avant Garde on the timers, however. The right-hand side, everyone's going to know about that one, because there's a little bit of a slap fight going on there with a bunch of water, you know, splashing people around, so both teams going to know that, but only if Direwolves is going to really know the true time of that left-hand side one.
Yeah, it looks like the right-hand side mid-camps did go the way of Avant Garde after they cleared out their back camps here. Now they go. Now look at this aggression already from Just Laney on towards Avant Garde in their duo lane. Looks like it's going to be an invade of the red buff here. Avant going to back away, just let Direwolves take this one. They don't have enough to really contest this one at this point. Again, El Chuckles has gone the red pot start. Ro, he has done the same thing, but they're really not looking for that one, especially with the Poseidon with a crippling whirlpool. I'm very surprised they didn't go for it.
It's going to be, I won't go to that red buff, it's going to be very detrimental to Ochita, because when he does hit that level 5 spike, he may not be able to kill Kiki Omeo with that whirlpool Kraken. So if he does live with that, he's going to be just, he's won the lane at that point until something else happens. Very big for Direwolves right there.
And now Kiki Omeo is going to get the timer on his own red buff as well. Going to prevent Avant Garde from getting that taken away from him. So countering the future invade there. I'm really excited to see Kikimio do some more work on this Janus after he did so much damage last.
Yeah, the Janus was just doing so much for the team. A lot of portals, a lot of unstable force acts, and getting that top damage.
Some aggression in the solo lane here as Yada uses the Pillar of Agony, only good at solo, just batters away at him with his sickle and whip. Sorry, flail, but Yada not going to find much out of there. There's a Lord of the Afterlife, though, by only good at solo onto Yada. Great silence and fear away there, but only good at solo still going in here, but it's not going to be quite enough. Yada still hanging around here. He can heal up off the wave if he gets the timing right, but if he goes too aggressive, he will pay for it.
Yeah, he just needs to try and heal up without only good solo. Just really force him out. Through space and time coming out here, they're going to be hunting down Ogre.
Yeah, and El Chuckles and Kikimi are both here. The Judgment Tether from only good at solo. Unstable Vortex hits him. There's the Last Breath as well. Yada looking to finish him off, but the tick damage from the poison from El Chuckles is going to be enough. First blood to Dials, but in the duo lane, Ro goes down with a Fino Weevil onto Richard Castle, who's immediately cracking. Sporks is here as well, looking to get something onto here, and Subfloor picks up the return kill from Avant Garde.
Unfortunately, though, that was not the first blood for Avant Garde. Direwolves gained that early on advantage. If we take a quick look at our graphs here, we can see the XP and gold difference are still around the 500 mark in favor of Direwolves. However, they may be able to use that as a little stepping stone to try and come out here. But Ro is going to be trying to look to invade this purple buff here, trying to take that away from Just Laney.
It's smart because Just Laney doesn't have any vision on it. He's too busy dealing with Subfloor and the wave. Avant going to pretty much take that one down for free. In that team fight, though, Timmy, was the combination we're talking about pre-game, the Hunbutt Fino Evil into the Poseidon Kraken.
Oh, so strong. It's just so strong because you've got that extra bit of security that your Kraken's going to land. Not only that, but people are going to be getting the purification beads for that Fino Evil, which means that they may not be able to get the Aegis, so the Kraken is going to land on more people, be more effective, and rack up even more damage. Just more. We want more. We want more from the Kraken, we want more from the Poseidon, we want more from the Humbats. This is very strong coming from Avant Garde.
Let's take a look towards our supports here. Richard Castle managed to get the tier 2 boots after he died. Sporks doesn't have anything online yet. He is sitting with 1,500 gold in hand, so he could go back and get the cooldown boots if he desired, or even the Traveler shoes again, which he liked last game. It'd be interesting to see which way he goes here. I did like the Traveler shoes as I felt like it enabled him to get to the late game a lot faster, and he did a lot of work for his team last game. Got a nice couple of stone shields off, but really the cataclysms and the blinks in and surviving through those was what was really important for his team.
Yeah, these Traveler shoes I think are going to be the pickup here for both of the supports. It's just so strong, allows them to rotate around a lot more, get a little bit extra go to try and keep up with the rest of that team and the enemy, as well as providing a lot of healing in just before and after those team fights.
Look towards our mid lane here. Looks like there's going to be some aggression. No, Chuckle's just going to back away under his tower here. Avant Garde going to go for the red buff. That'll be the first one. Ochita will get this game after Direwolves took it away a bit earlier. Again, this team's kind of... basically what happens with teams in Oceania is you hit level 5 and then you fight. And then whoever comes out the better of that fight starts becoming more aggressive. But if you go pretty even in the fights, or you have 2 fights like you saw in this one, they kind of seem to regress into this passive stage where they're not really sure what to do. Well, not that. They're not really sure how they can fight because they're about even. They don't have that little advantage that they like to try and initiate. And so they really have to find a perfect situation to go in before they'll pull the trigger.
Either that, or they have to try and bait something out like a Gold Fury and just see who slips up. And when someone does slip up, that's when you start seeing those advantages, those wipes coming out, multiple kills for one team, and then that means the next one, there's going to be even more.
You can see Chuck's there looking for some aggression towards Sporks. Not going to find anything. Ro is here. He can trap them in the passageway there. There's the Dark Side of Night. Kraken comes out. Richard Castle, Wrath of Terror, disrupts the attack for now, but it's not going to be enough. Great Cataclysm there from Sporks. Richard Castle goes down to the Sacred Monkey of Ro. Across the sky comes in from Just Lane. He's looking for a return kill. Great Stone Shield onto Ro there. Ochita manages to get out alive as well. Only good at solo. Hunting around in the backline, looking for some aggression here. But Avant Garde going to be the victors of that fight, at least for the moment.
And now, only good solo, gonna get chased down by El Chuckles that is gonna be able to secure a kill onto him. Last breath was used, I believe. just try and really bring him down, stop any healing, and just absolutely bring him down to the grave.
And now El Chuckles has got 2 kills, he's getting this Circuit online, and that's got to be really scary for Avant Garde, because as we mentioned pre-cast, Sporks can only Stone Shield so many people, which will stop the aggression from El Chuckles.
Yeah.
But, you know, once the other members of Direwolves can look for some aggression, force out the Stone Shield, and then Chuckles can go in ham.
Yeah, it really allows people to just absolutely get enabled. And with Yada on the Hades, when you start getting to that late game, people kind of start getting taken up by that Pillar of Agony, just really gripped up. All of a sudden, you see an unstable Vortex coming in there, chunking people for about half their health, as well as Just Laney just taking pot shots at everyone.
Yeah, Just Laney was unable to find a kill there. He got some nice aggression down, but the Stone Shield from Sporks was on point. Over in the solo side of things, we see another double grouping from both teams. No one really looking for too much at this point. Yada just making sure Avant Garde going to stay at their blue buff, not really going to try and come after him here. Gold Fury, though, has been immensely warded up by Avant Garde, so it's clear that that's going to be the thing that they're looking for in the next fight.
Yeah, they want to be able to see where everyone from Direwolves are, so they can see if someone's out of position, if someone's low, if someone's backing, because that's when they're going to aggress. The Gold Fury is going to be that gateway for them to try and find a lead. As well as Direwolves, they need to try and get some wards out there, maybe take out that Sentry ward of Avant Garde. They did want a little bit there on the bottom side of the Gold Fury, just try and retake the vision, give themselves a little bit of protection there. So good counter warding coming out from Direwolves, just giving themselves that little bit cloak.
Interesting coming out of the solo lane. Only good at solo, seems to be winning his lane. He's consistently pushing Yada back under his tower, forcing out the teleport to get back to the lane, which is odd when you think, you know, a Hades typically wins the solo lane.
Yeah, but Osiris is just a bully. If you step forward, he's gonna start wailing on you. The passive of his, giving himself physical mitigation, it does apply to damage given from the minions, so he does have that little advantage there. But like I said, Osiris is just a bully. You step forward, he's gonna slap you.
Yada looks to be going into the Plate of Valor here to give himself some extra cooldowns. That's going to be nice for his team to have him in there disrupting team fights, Pillar of Agony, or that Shroud of Darkness to silence and disrupt any aggression Avant might want to put out. But looking towards this Gold Fury now, Avant going to ward it up. Whirlpool out there to prevent Direwolves from coming through here. This is going to be a fight relatively soon, I feel. Direwolves look to initiate this one. Richard Castle blinks through Wrath of Terror, only picks up Rogue. Great Stone Shield there from Sporks, prevents the root from occurring. El Chuckles is caught in the middle of the Whirlpool there. There's the Dark Side Knights coming out from subfloor. Kikyo Mio teleports away, and that's going to be it for Direwolves. But that was 2 ultimates for the price of 1. Avant Garde definitely coming out the better at that trade.
Avant Garde just really holding down the fort. They know that Dire was going to be trying to look for something early on near this Gold Fury area, so they don't want to slip up. They want Dire to be the one to slip up, because when that happens, the team's going to get that large advantage. If we take a quick look at our graphs, we can see that Direwolves are at the moment in the lead with just 1,000 XP and a little over 1,000 gold.
It's still a tight match at this point. Nothing's really been taken away. Actually, as we say that, Yada takes away the solo lane tier 1, which would be a nice little bit of gold for his team there. But no Gold Fury taken at this point. No real objective steal other than a red buff taken away by Direwolves. So not really much to be had here. Even in kills, everything's pretty even at this point. But all it's going to take is really one fight to put it in one team's favor.
That's really just how it happens in the Oceania. It's just this, it's like inflating a balloon without letting go. It builds up, gets bigger and bigger, more tension, and all of a sudden, bang, it pops, and one team is just way further ahead, starts snowballing, start being super aggressive onto the enemy team, and it's very hard to come back from that if they get pushed out extremely hard.
I really like this shell pickup on Sporks. It's going to give his team so much more survivability in team fights, nullify a lot of damage that Direwolves is going to be looking to put down on them. And in this game, with what the Direwolves have in terms of crowd control, he really doesn't need a Beads or something that you might see on a Geb. It was a little bit necessary last game when he went up against a Fenrir. He was looking to Ragnarok him every 2 seconds. But this game, he can pretty much more safely go into the shell than previously. And it's funny, he's gone He's gone again the Traveler shoes. Sorry, not funnily. Typically, he's gone into the Traveler shoes again, which is going to allow him to get towards the late game a little bit quicker. Avant looking for this Gold Fury at this point. Going to try and burst it down before Direwolves can really get into the area. Kikyo and Chuckles know what is going on, though. Avant wisely backing away here. Laney went up into the sky and comes back down. There's the Fear No Evil. Chuckles is caught out between everyone on Avant Garde. Subfloor picks up another kill. Yada, Pillar of Agony goes down. He's caught a cheater, but the Stone Shield is great there from Sporks to get him away from it. Unstable Vortex connects with Sporks, who's going to have to get out of here. Only good at solo, looking towards Yada at this point, but it's not going to be enough for Direwolves to really come back into this one. Avant Garde probably going to take this Gold Fury.
They may be able to, but they're not going to be able to do it while Direwolves are still there. Blink, Ralph the Tower coming in there, hits so many people!
Road taken extremely low, jumps away at this point, only good at solo, again being disrupted. The through space and time nearly connects with Ro, the portal through the ground. The beads was great from Ro. Auto attack's going to take him out, but no, it's not. The shield from Sporks.
Shield.
Oh my goodness. And only good at solo gets a kill onto Yada. How did Ro live?
He put on his little joking shoes and ran around like the little monkey he is. He just lived for long enough for Spox to come in there, recognize the danger, give himself that stone shield, just get him out. Just, oh my god, it's so low.
That was incredible play there. Spox on point with his stone shields. I mean, he's gabbed twice, and that seems to be what he's comfortable with. And, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Only good at solo, taken a little bit low there in the mid lane, but gonna back away. The support from his team was there to enable him to get out alive. Mid camp's gonna go the way of Direwolves here. Avant Garde backing away from those ones. Avant Garde, though, starting to get a little bit of a lead. If we look at the graphs, 1,000 gold difference, 600 XP, nothing really to write home to mum about. Sorry, actually, that's in favor of the Direwolves.
Yeah. Direwolves just really holding their advantage at the moment. However, it's not quite enough to really be noticeable. Both teams are very close to each other. Direwolves, they've just have this knack of being able to farm so well. They're 2 kills behind Avant Garde, yet they're up in gold and XP. That's their strength. However, Avant Garde, if you give them an inch, they take it a mile.
Let's take a look towards our Hunters at this point. Both of them went the Devourer's Gauntlet start. And they've basically flipped the script on each other, playing the Hunter that the other one was playing last game. Laney, though, with his Apollo, is going to go into an Ichavool rather than try and do the double lifesteal that Subfloor was going last game. Laney actually goes up into the sky at this point. Are they looking for a Gold Fury? Both Ro and Sporks are backing here. If Direwolves spot this out, they could go for it. Ochita is in the area with a red buff on, so he could possibly steal it away. Subfloor looking around the area, making sure Direwolves aren't doing it while Ro is at home. But a little bit of a missed opportunity there for Direwolves. They probably could have taken that one away.
They could have taken it, however, there just wasn't that insurance. They weren't all that confident that if he does go in, he's going to be able to find something and get out alive. Avant Garde actually going to chase out Direwolves, or at least chase out Just Laney out of this Gold Fury area. And once again, they're going to be looking to try and bait this out, just try and force the hand of Direwolves.
Yeah, Subfloor is going to be doing a fair bit of damage at this point, and he is fully stacked in his Devourer's Gauntlet. It's going to be able to lifesteal a little bit away from the Gold Fury, not terribly much, but he's going to be the best one to start it. Rose hanging around the backside where Laney and Chuckles are at the moment. Going to jump away here, not really wanted to go in yet. It's going to be Sporks who rolls it in. Blinks in with a beautiful Cataclysm, gets 3 members of Direwolves down. Great Mesmerize there from Just Laney to get him out of trouble. Richard Castle blinks to the back line of Avant. Subfloor takes a fair bit of damage here. Only good at solo, just boxing Laney. Great Aegis, but it's not going to be enough. Only good at solo, takes it down. There's the Pillar of Agony from Yada, traps 3 members of Avant Garde, but taken very low himself because just by standing there, he was the focus of all the damage. That's 2 members of Direwolves down now, and the Gold Fury going to be started up by Avant.
Kikyo, Mio, and Richard Castle, the only ones, actually El Chuckles is in the area as well. They're going to have to try and take away this Gold Fury here, but Avant Garde do manage to grab that up for themselves, securing themselves an even further lead after all those kills. If we take a look at our graphs, we can actually see that Avant Garde have brought it back just ever so slightly in their favor. Direwolves are starting to peak up a little bit, but now they've been put down a little bit further. Avant Garde just leveling the playing field for them.
This is a kind of micro version of what we saw last game. Direwolves had a lead early, and then Avant Garde took it away. What's happening in this one is Avant is just doing it faster. They got through that early hump of aggression that Direwolves typically have, and then they're building up their own lead. And Only Good at Solo is just doing so much work. He's an incredible player to watch.
Only Good at Solo, he's just so tanky at the moment. Stone of Guys give himself a lot of regeneration throughout those team fights, as well as getting that still mail. Just
Rogue
really
blinks
trying.
in there, uses the Fear No Evil onto El Chuckles. Got no mana to get away, but somehow still manages to, as Richard Castle and Yada are in the area. There is another Pillar of Agony. Chuckles can't do too much at this point other than auto attack. There's a great Cataclysm from Sporks. Laney comes in from across the skies, but lands right on a Kraken. Chuckles forced to run away. Sacred Monkey does proc him. Rogue goes after him, but doesn't quite manage to pick up the kill. Laney gets the kill back onto Rogue. At this point, Subfloor is split pushing, and Avant trade out one of their own there for not much return. Kikyo comes in with the through space and time, gets some damage down. Not going to be enough to pick up a kill, but only good at solo. Needs to get away here. Judgment Tether's going to be enough to slow him away. But now the Direwolves, they go through those portals. They want the blood. They want the kill. They want the revenge onto Avant-Garde, and especially onto only good at solo. But it looks like he manages to get away here as Tidal Surge going to knock away Yada. No, Richard Castle blinks through now.
Richard Castle coming in there, just continuing the aggression. They really want only good at solo. He's falling even further behind, and now he's going to go ahead and bite the dust here as he does get taken down finally, as he gets chased all the way across the map.
That was
Holy cow.
That was a little bit of thirst there from Direwolves, but they picked up the kill at the end. Pretty worth it. They dropped a tier 1 tower. That was a little bit of gold towards Avant-Garde. You know, you can afford to give away a tier 1 tower there. And what was good about that fight is they got some kills, and that's not necessarily a in-game thing that's going to help them. That's more of a psychological thing. Thinking, we're still in this one, we can still compete. It's still early in this game. This game is ours for the taking.
We're still strong. We're still stronger at farming. We can still get those kills. We're not out of it just yet, like you said. Direwolves, they need to try and work harder, though. They need to try and make more of a separation between them and Avant-Garde with these graphs here. If we take a look at them, once again, only around the just under 500 marks, going both XP to Direwolves and gold to Avant-Garde. So we saw that we saw Avant-Garde bringing it back even though Direwolves were ahead. They need to try and make more of a separation between themselves so they can really start to get that hard foothold onto Avant-Garde.
Take a look at our player damage, Clem. We can see only good at solo's got 9,500 damage at this point, when essentially his only damage items are the Death Toll and Warrior Tarbai. Other than that, he's going into... Oh, actually some aggression in the mid lane. Kraken comes down onto Direwolves. There's the Fear No Evil as well from Ro, who does have Last Breath applied to him here. Chuckles going hard for this kill. The tick damage not enough to take out Ro at this point. Back towards the tower. Richard Castle extremely low. Chuckles still chasing Ro at this point. He's not going to find him there. Subfloor, though, picks up a kill onto Yada. Sporks is mesmerized out by just Laney. And Chuckles, he's pretty deep there. And he's going still onto the Whirlpool. Judgment Tether comes out as well. Not going to find anything, though. Looked for the kill onto Ro, find it, and ended up costing Yada his life.
And Avant-Garde getting that kill onto Yada just allowed themselves to get a little bit of a creep forward. They're going to be looking to try and push down this tier 1 tower. However, Avant-Garde are going to force them back out here. Just say, nope, this is our territory, you get out.
It seems kind of like whenever Direwolves want to start something, Avant-Garde are happy to let them do it, and then they just pull off a brilliant counter, and Direwolves just unable to really find anything off their own aggression.
They really need to try and find something which is of a high contention, something like a Gold Fury, a tower, maybe a very important buff that someone's trying to get, or they need to try and do a sneak attack. However, Avant-Garde, they've got a lot of vision coming up on the map, and they have great communication between themselves, so trying to sneak up on them is going to be very difficult.
It's a 5-man grouping from Avant into mid lane now against 3 of Direwolves. Ro jumps in there, unafraid, uses the Fear No Evil on Kikyo, who just disappears, only good at solo, gets credited with another kill there. Pillar of Agony used by Yada, but Richard Castle gets the kill back onto Ro with the Wisps damage there. Tier 1 tower gonna fall here. Chuckles again out of this fight, low health, low mana. Laney, though, split pushing on the left, only good at solo, teleports in again and denies any further push.
Only good solo is just so on point with those teleports. He does what he needs to in the fights, gets a kill off, helps his team out, and then he goes and stops the split push. Just stop Direwolves from getting any further ahead. Just shutting down just Laney. You're not split pushing on my watch. That's not happening.
One person I want to highlight in this one is Cheetah. 0, 0, and 8, he's been a part of every single one of his team's kills. Not credited with any of them yet, but just really being that necessary presence. The Whirlpool Cripple is really doing some work on Direwolves. There's really kind of throwing them for a loop in this one.
Poseidon really excels in those team fights with that Whirlpool, like you said, crippling people, bring them into the center and dealing damage. It's just such a debilitating ability to get hit by, and it causes so much havoc. Avant-Garde, they're going to be trying to look for another Gold Fury here, trying to force the hand of Direwolves yet again. They can take out Direwolves, they've been holding the advantage in these fights here.
Sporks blinks in and uses the Cataclysm. Richard Castle uses the Wrath of Fear as well. Fear No Evil goes down. Richard Castle being relentlessly picked on by Avant-Garde. Yada, beautiful Aegis there to get out of the damage of the Kraken. Uses the Pillar of Agony. Again though, he's just picked on by Avant. Ocheetah's got a double kill at this point. Laney forced to use the Across the Skies to get out of there. Avant-Garde just demolished Direwolves in that fight.
Avant-Garde just absolutely get all the houses out of the way, get rid of Direwolves, leave almost no one alive, only Kikyo Mio and just Laney, and now they're going to be able to take up that Gold Fury, just give themselves the advantage that they need. If we take a look at our graphs, we can see that Avant-Garde are ahead 1700 XP as well, no, 2000 XP as well as 2,500 gold. They're starting to snowball, they bring the aggression.
Subfloor again has gone for the lifesteal build, and with extra penetration as well. I really like this against a double Guardian that the Direwolves like to play with the Sylvanas and with the Hades. It's going to enable him to do so much damage to them, as well as that he's got full passive stacks, so he's going to be hitting like an absolute monster at this point.
Yeah, full passive at 23 minutes in on a Xbalanque, that's not something you want to go up against. Especially, like you said, that double lifesteal is allowing him just to continue on during those fights. All he has to do is focus someone down, just hit someone a couple of times, and his health is going to skyrocket up. Whereas just Laney, he needs to work harder for that. He's got more penetration, but he doesn't have the lifesteal.
He doesn't have as much lifesteal.
Not as much.
He does still have a fully stacked Devourer's Gauntlets. Fire Giant being warded up from Avant-Garde here. Chuckles being just kind of forced away here. Chuckles hasn't been as much of a presence in these games as he has been for previous Direwolves game, which I think has really affected them. He's just been unable to really do too much for his team. Like, usually he sets up, gets some nice abilities off, really allows the more damagey dealers on his team like Kikyo Mio and just Laney to do work. Actually, speaking of Laney, going to be split pushing this tier 2 tower down. Should be able to get it at this stage in the game as the grouping on the right-hand side comes to fruition for Avant-Garde as they use a Fear No Evil. Actually, that doesn't get very much for him here at this point. Sporks is going to be hammering away at the tower by himself. Portal through the ground. Chuckles blinks in, looking for aggression onto Roe. Uses the last breath. There's a Cataclysm, though, from Sporks to disrupt the attacking motion of Direwolves. Wrath of Terror used by Richard Castle. Just purely onto subfloor. Sporks is the focus of the aggression now, which is probably not a good idea as he is the tank. Laney uses the Across the Skies to get through. Nothing much going to be found here. Great snipe there from Kikyo Mio. Roe is extremely low, but unable to find anything from it now.
Direwolves just really trying to push up as hard as they can. They've got a little bit of a lead here. No one's fallen just yet, but Avant-Garde are a little bit better than Bruise. However, Direwolves have to be careful because now they're in Avant-Garde's territory at this tier 2 tower on the right-hand side.
Richard Castle pulled in Sporks there, but again, not really anything going to be able to be found onto a Geb that does have both Sovereignty and Hardwood Amulet. Going to be very difficult to really do too much damage to him without anyone really being at the most late stage of their game. I don't think Direwolves should continue pressuring this tier 2. They just don't have the health to do it, the regeneration. Roe uses the Fear No Evil, but the portal there was able to get Kikyo Mio out of any damage, really. And Avant-Garde, they're going to try and fight this one, I feel. And I think that they should. They're in a better position. Actually, Cheetah's going to back, so they're going to back off.
Cheetah is going to be out of there. Kraken is available, however, it is not available if you're not there. Direwolves may be looking to take an advantage of this, however, they need to do something before Cheetah comes back, because if they get hit by a Kraken, that's going to be massive towards them. 3 Aegis Amulets coming out onto the side of Direwolves. The only ones who don't have it, however, are El Chuckles and Richard Castle. And
yeah, that's probably to be expected with those two guys. Cheetah is back now and going to be looking to do damage. Oh, Roe was waiting there for just Laney. Uses Sacred Money. Look at the damage coming up from Laney, though. Roe nearly dies there to a couple of auto attacks. Kraken goes down into Richard Castle. Kikyo Mio uses the through space of time to try and find Roe. Gets him with the Unstable Vortex. Laney comes in now with the Across the Skies. Whirlpool comes out from Ocheetah. El Chuckle's forced out of the fight. Again, extremely low. That unstable vortex did nothing to Only Good at Solo. He just brushed it off and kept walking. That's going to be thanks to that Stone of Guy. He's gone online. Just Lady going in now, pretty much 1v3 against Avant as Only Good at Solo, forcing the rest of his teammates out. Kikyo Mio puts him through a portal at this point. He's going to be the target of their attacks at this point, but he's able to soak them up and regen it. That Stone of Guy is doing tremendously for him.
It's just allowing him to just continue hammering onto Direwolves. Direwolves, they're trying to look for something here, just still hanging around after getting a kill onto Ro. They're trying to find a little bit more. However, they're starting to fall back now, trying to look for something in the jungle, maybe a tier 1 tower in the mid lane. They need to try and get some vision onto the Gold Fury and Fire Giant now, because Avant-Garde, they're going to try and force the hand of Direwolves like they have been all game on those objectives.
Direwolves really need one of those objectives to put themselves back in this one. Golden XP. XP's at 2,300 in favor of Direwolves, actually, and Gold's about 500 in favor of them. So they're swinging it back towards them despite the kill disparity. That's going to be thanks to Just Laney's split push, which has been really, really good for him, really capitalizing on Apollo's ability to do that, bringing them back into this one. But psychologically, I feel like Direwolves still feel like they're behind, and they need a Gold Fury or a Fire Giant or just another really good fight to put them in the headspace to be able to take it away from Avant.
In terms of the team fights, Avant-Garde are definitely ahead. Direwolves may have the XP and gold advantage, but that's just simply because they're so good at farming. They just find XP and gold when no one else would. But Avant-Garde, when it comes down to the end of it, they are winning these team fights. They're getting the kills, they're getting the objectives, and that's really what is going to determine the fate of this game.
Take a look towards our mid lane builds here. We could see Kikyo Mio and Ochida have both gone Spear of the Mages. That's what you'd expect. Actually, talk to me about Spear of the Mages on to Janus. Yeah, talk to me about Spear of the Mages, Timmy.
So, Spear of the Mages, you have to deal a little bit of damage with abilities in order to get the... actually, Fear No Evil coming out there. Kikyo Mio getting through the portal, getting himself out of dodge, and now Direwolves Kraken coming out there. Direwolves need to try and regroup here and find something.
The through space and time from Kikyo Mio hit Ro and forced him back away here. Laney, though, being focused by Only Good at Solo, he's going to be forced to get out. Ochida picks up a kill onto El Chuckles, again being targeted by Avant-Garde. Yada goes down with a Pillar of Agony, takes a fair bit of damage there, but Laney able to pick up a kill onto Ro, probably going to pay for it here. Subfloor gets another kill. Yada looking to go deep onto Ochida at this point, but not going to find anything. He's taken extremely low himself. Subfloor can probably take him out with a branching bowler, which he does. Subfloor's got a double at this point. Kikyo Mio is now being chased by all of Avant. Richard Castle can't do much to help him, but the portal from Kikyo Mio is enough to get him away there. And Avant, this looks like a Fire Giant call from them.
They're going for it. They're going for that Fire Giant. 3 members of Direwolves down. They only lost Ro, who is getting picked off a little bit this game. 1, 4, and 10. However, they are going to go ahead and take the solace of the Fire Giant and take that away as a little supplement prize.
Yeah, I don't think Kikyo Mio is going to be able to steal this one away. No, Avant-Garde, that one pretty easily. Not much resistance coming from Direwolves, but in a 2v4 situation, there's really not much that you can do. Only Good at Solo did really nice work there to keep Richard Castle zoned out and unable to use his Blink Wrath of Terror to get into that fight.
Blink Wrath of Terror would have really done something for Direwolves. However, they just didn't have enough to try and secure the Fire Giant. Sylvanas doesn't have enough objective damage. He's only got the Verdant Growth as well as the auto attacks. Wisp and Wrath of Terror did not affect those objectives or any minions at that matter as it is.
Take a look at El Chuckles now. He's on a mail renewal. We saw Direwolves really like that item last game. What do you think that's going to bring to a Circuit?
It's going to give a little bit of cooldown, so he's going to be able to be more mobile, more Deathbanes, more Cobra's Kisses and all that, as well as allow a little bit more defense. Only Good Solo and Ro, as well as Subfloor, chugging out a lot of damage against them. And El Chuckles is one of the more squishier people on Direwolves, especially with the fact that he doesn't have an Aegis, only the beads and the blink. It is going to allow him to do a little bit more for a little bit longer, but the regen is going to be, a little bit lackluster for him, I feel.
Richard Castle blinks and uses the Wrath of Terror onto Avant. His Subfloor taken pretty low, but the Stone Shield comes out. Great Kraken there by Ochida to get onto El Chuckles, who's forced away at this point. Ro jumps away. Now Laney as well, caught in the Whirlpool, taking a lot of damage. Yada being forced away as well. Avant-Garde absolutely steamrolling over Direwolves at this point. Only Good at Solo chasing them down here. There's a blink in from Sporks who just knocks people up. Laney needs to get out. He's nearly dead at this point, but just barely manages to get away. Rose hanging around the back, a little bit low himself. The through space and time nearly gets him there, but it's not to be. Kikyomiru can't land the unstable vortex. Subfloor is looking to chunk down this Phoenix, and I don't think Direwolves is going to be able to stop Avant Garde. Yada uses the Pillar of Agony. The Phoenix goes down, however, and now it's looking like Direwolves are going to be... it's going to be really hard for them again to get back into this one. They've somehow found themselves behind again.
Avant Garde, like I said, you give them an inch, they take it a mile. Phoenix already falling for Direwolves. That's going to be massive for them because now they have to try and babysit the Titan. Yada getting a kill onto Only Good at Solo. A little bit of a, backup prize. Yeah, we lost a Phoenix, but we got Ogre. Not quite enough of what Direwolves need.
Only Good at Solo, I like his build at this point, especially with the Midgardian Mail. That's going to slow down Laney and Chuckles, especially on the side of Direwolves, because they're going to be... If he's up in their face, he's going to be just... He's going to be a conduit for all of Direwolves' aggression, and he's really going to prevent them from doing too much of that aggression onto anyone else on his team. And if it hits him, it's really not going to do much. We've seen Unstable Vortexes basically bounce off him, not really doing much. Chuckles caught out here a little bit again by Avant Garde, and now they're going to try and... They're going to get the gold free that Direwolves were trying to get.
Yeah, Direwolves are just trying, okay, everyone's gone a little bit. Avant Garde have gone back to base. We'll try and quickly sneak a gold fury. Nope, Avant Garde go ahead and takes that one.
And now the through space and time hits Ochita there. A lot of bitch onto him. Sporks is hit by the Fear No Evil. Chuckles forced to use his bead to get away from the Fear No Evil. Sporks taken very low. There's a Kraken. Aged beautifully by Yada, but he is still under half health. Last breath goes on to Only Good at Solo, who's probably not going to die here. Lord of the Afterlife comes out. Subfloor takes out Kikyomiru. Only Good at Solo taken low, but great stone shield from Sporks, who blinked over the wall to give that to Ogre. And now Subfloor and Ochita are hunting the rest of Direwolves.
Direwolves have to retreat now and back to these tier 2 towers, but I don't think Avant Garde are going to really care much for that. They're going to continue pushing down Direwolves, just try and smother them out of this game, and maybe even look for another Phoenix before this Fire Giant comes up.
That was really smart there from Subfloor. What he did was hit Owl with Branching Bowlers activated, and that hit Laney just for a little bit more damage. Trying to pick up a kill, didn't quite have enough to do it, but that's really smart play there from Subfloor, recognizing what his abilities can do, and that really shows Avant Garde's experience at this game.
They just do so much research on the game. They know the meta, they know the strategy, they know the mechanics of the gods very well. There's not a whole lot they can surprise Avant Garde with, and Direwolves are having that trouble. You want to sink a God Fury? No, Avant Garde are on that. You want to maybe try and look for a Circuit so you can try and go into those backlines? No, they've got that covered. The communication and knowledge is unmatched in Oceania.
And it's really surprising to me that they've managed to keep that level of communication and synergy up, considering Biggie, their captain and shot caller, is out for the game. Sporks moves from the solo lane into the support role for this one, and Only Good at Solo. Well, I mean, he's got his name for a reason, and he's performing very, very well in the solo lane. Let's take a look towards our player damage charts at this point. Subfloor going to be topping them at this point. He is 9-0 on Xbalanque, and with that comes a fair amount of player damage, which is going to be just under 30k.
Just under 30k is pretty significant at this point. However, second, third, and fourth are not too far off. Ochita at a close second, followed by Kikyomiru and Just Laney. Not quite as much. I just want to point out, you mentioned Sporks being moved from the solo lane to the support role. He hasn't died yet this game.
The Avant Garde going to stop the Fire Giant here. Richard Castle blinks in with a Wrath of Terror onto 3 members of Avant, but it does very little to them. Through space and time does connect with Ochita, who's not going to be able to do too much at this stage. Laney dashes in and mesmerizes. There's a great Kraken. Takes down Kiki and Laney very low, as well as Richard Castle. Rogue got a double kill there from the overhand smash, and now Yada uses the Pillar of Agony. Chuckles gets 1 kill. Yada forced to dash away at this point, but Rose got a triple kill now. Chuckles needs to get away here. Avant, it looks like, are they going to even bother with the Fire Giant, or are they just going to go straight for the win?
No, they're going straight for the juggler. They know that they can take this down. Everyone from Direwolves is dead for such a long time. Our Chuckles can only do so much. If he gets spotted out, there could be so much danger for him, so much damage coming out. They only really need to crack the shell of Direwolves' base, taking down a single Phoenix, and now they're going for the Titan here.
And they've got so many fire minions there as well. It's enabled them to push that pretty safely. Chuckles can only really damage one person. Ochita Aegis is away from a lot of his damage. The Titan's at about half health. Only Good at Solo picks up a kill now. That's going to be GG. Richard Castle's up in 5, but it's not enough. Avant Garde take that win, and they take the series 2-0. They're going to go undefeated throughout the OPL, and they're going to be moving towards that first seed at the PAX Regional Finals, determining who's going to be visiting Atlanta, Georgia for the Smite World Championships.
Just really showing everyone their stuff. Undefeated during the entire 7 weeks of the OPL. Haven't dropped a single game. 14-0. Direwolves put up a fair bit of a good fight. However, they were just outmatched. A lot of good counters coming out there. We saw that as soon as Richard Castle or Spox initiated with the Cataclysm and Wrath of Terror, their opponent just did the exact same thing. And Direwolves, they had good farm. They were up ahead in the graphs for quite a while on both games early on. However, they just couldn't get the kills that they needed. They couldn't get the objectives. And that's where Avant Garde really stole it away.
I'm actually quite surprised that this one turned out the way it did. I thought with Biggie not being in there, it was the time for Direwolves to win, because they've got their full roster. Avant Garde's using a sub. This is when Direwolves needed to win to prove that they were the #1 team, to take that mantle away from Avant Garde, and not being able to do it is a big problem for them and something they'll need to address between now and PAX. However, I think it cannot be overlooked how only Good at Solo played. We saw him in the Invitational ladder playing for Citadel and playing extremely well. Once that team broke up, he moved to a sub role with Avant Garde, but he played out of his boots in this game, and he's got my vote for MVP.
Definitely as well. I kind of felt a little bit strange seeing Osiris without a Frostbound Hammer. You generally see that just for even more slow and attack speed slow, but I do have to agree on him having the first place. Coming in as a sub, he was as if he was a main roster.
And exactly right. He played as if he hadn't skipped a beat, as if it was straight after week 7 of the Invitational ladder, and just did tremendous work. Osiris both games, but you know what? He made it work. Didn't really have to vary up the game plan too much there. Our next load of winners for top players in this game is going to be a little bit tricky, because I feel like everyone else on Avant Garde did equally well. I really want to give a shout out to Sporkster and put him in second place, because it is a role he doesn't always play. He's usually the solo laner, and yet he didn't die this whole second game, was part of 18 of the 20 kills, and kept his teammates alive in some very clutch situations.
Yeah, as opposed to Biggie, he didn't end up dying on Gap. BBM coming out there. But it's like he didn't... It's like he was so comfortable. It was like he was a support. There was no issues coming out for him. So I do agree on him being number 2nd. But I have to give a shout out to the ADC subfloor. Just so much split pushing early on, and then later on in the second game, 9-1 and 8, just all the kills, so much damage coming out there, really just drove it home for them.
I definitely agree. 30k damage was tremendous for him as well. So much structure damage as well. Really, really great play coming out of him. But so that's going to be our order. MVP is going to be only Good at Solo. Next on the list is going to be Sporks. 3rd will be Subfloor. And that's going to tie it up from us here in our first set of Avant Garde versus Direwolves. Avant Garde coming up 2-0 in that set. Next up, we have got Ivory Gaming versus Team Solo Theo. That one's going to be brought to you by Nightfall and Switchbase, so make sure you stick around for that one. Those are sure to be some great games as well. But we are going to go to a break here, maybe some messages from our sponsors as well, and we'll be right back with all the action straight after this.